everybody. So we finished our gardening yesterday and we went over to Gazy Brothers Farms and picked up our weekly vegetable share and ended up making a really delicious salad for dinner last night that had nasturtium blossoms. So check out our Two Wrasslin Dogs Farms Facebook page for details on that. So it's Sunday, May 3rd, and we're getting ready for our dinner tonight, and we're going to be making a chicken and bean chili. So I'm going to be using a roasted tomatillo sauce that I had made last year and had frozen. So what I'm going to be doing is pouring it through the food mill. And if you don't have a food mill, this is a really great kitchen accessory to get. This is a Martha Stewart plastic food mill, and it's actually really great because it has these little ridges that hold it to the bowl. So we're going to put this through the food mill at the finest setting so that we can remove all these little seeds that are in the sauce. And then we're going to saute the chicken. So what I have here is about 1 3/4 pounds of chicken thigh meat. So you can use whatever kind of chicken or turkey that you want to use, but I used about 1 3/4 pounds. And what I'm going to do is add to that 1/2 tablespoon of dried oregano, 1/2 tablespoon of our red pepper powder, and 1 tablespoon of our sumac lemon seasoning, which has a little salt and pepper mixed in it. So we're going to toss this together, and then we're going to saute it in our Creuset 8-quart pot. Now this is one of those things that if you can find these for clearance at TJ Maxx or any of those kind of stores, totally worth the investment because you'll use this all the time. So we're going to cook the chicken in this pot, and then we're going to cook the beans, and then we're going to add the tomatillo sauce. So we have the chicken is sauteed, and I sauteed it in about 1 tablespoon of avocado oil, and it's pretty much done. So I'm going to just turn off the heat, and I'm going to remove it from the pan. Now, I did not cook it all the way through. What I did was I just made sure that the chicken was finished on the outside, so there was no raw pieces of chicken showing. So we're just going to remove it from the pan, and we're not going to worry about all the juices that are remaining in the pan. As you can see, I'm removing with a slotted spoon because this is one of those one-pot meals. Now there's still some oil and a little bit of chicken on the bottom of the pan, but what we're going to do now is we're going to add the cooked beans. And this was about 3/4 pound of cooked beans. And since I didn't have any garlic on hand, I'm going to use the garlic mustard pesto that we made the other day. And we're just going to put a little spoonful of that in with the beans. And the beans are already cooked, so really all I want to do is get a little flavor into them. And when I cook beans, I generally do not add salt until I'm at this point. So we're just going to toss those together, and I am going to now add the chicken. And we're just going to let that cook together for a few minutes. So the chicken and the beans have been cooking now for a few minutes, and if I could tell you what the scent that's coming off of this, we have the layering of flavors where we added the sumac seasoning with the chicken, and then we added the garlic mustard pesto with the beans, which is just making an amazingly wonderful aroma. And now we're just going to add our pureed tomatillo. We'll give it a good mix up. Now I'm going to leave it in a nice even layer. And we're covering it, and we're going to get ready to make our cheesy polenta. Well, the chicken and beans are cooking on the stove. I added an extra half cup of chicken stock because it was getting a little thick. And now the water is boiling, and we are adding our farmer ground New York State polenta. You use a half of a cup of polenta to 2 cups of water and a half a teaspoon of salt. And you just pour it in and whisk it about, and then once every 1 or 2 minutes, you can whisk it, and you want to whisk it for 20 minutes. Okay, now the polenta has been cooking for about 20 minutes. And remember, if your polenta starts to pull away from the pan before the 20 minutes is up, you want to add a little bit of water. So I actually, at the 10-minute mark, added another 1/4 cup of stock to the polenta. And as you can see, it is, when you go to stir it with the whisk, it is pulling away from the pan. So I'm sure you can see that in the video. But when somebody says to you that polenta needs to pull away from the pan, that's what they mean. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the heat off. And this is going to be cheesy polenta. So we're going to add a tablespoon of butter. And we're going to add about 3/4 of a cup of cheese. This is a aged cheddar cheese. And probably about 1 ounce of cheese before grating. Let's mix this together. And you just keep mixing. Now this is like molten lava. So as you can see, the cheese just kind of melts immediately. And that is cheesy polenta. Okay. So let's just put a little bit of polenta on each plate. And I know it doesn't look like a lot, but this is just cheese and butter and corn grits, and you'd be amazed at how filling this can be. And then our chicken chili has been cooking for 20 minutes while the polenta's been cooking. And it has thickened up as well. And as you can see, there's a lot of chili in this pot. And our girls want some also, but they won't get any. There's a lot of chili in this pot. And this is probably going to be turned into about at least 3 or 4 different meals. I see this being used tomorrow when it's had a chance to thicken up a little bit. We'll turn these into maybe burritos with a little bit of rice. We could turn these into nachos, or we can add a little bit more chicken stock and turn it into a soup. But tonight, we're going to be enjoying it over our cheesy polenta. And I wish that you could taste some, but I'm going to. Oh yeah. The beans are so creamy, and they balance with the tomatillos, and it's really, really delicious. So this is a meal that I created out of things I had in my pantry, and we're going to enjoy a delicious dinner tonight. So until next time, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chris Napolitano, and also follow our page on Facebook, 2 Wrasslin Dogs Farms.